fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Brawn from the Transformers Studio Series 86 line from Hasbro. We can see here he is 22nd in the series. Some really nice artwork of Brawn here on the front, and of course we're still going with the plastic-free packaging, so you have a little cutout here and you can actually see the figure inside. Over here we have just kind of a zoomed-in version of that same artwork from the front, and then over here on this side we have a zoomed-out version of the same artwork, so it's just that same picture of Brawn 3 times. Spinning it around to the back, we get some nice product shots for the robot mode and the vehicle mode. Pretty standard stuff, but everything looks really great. I'm actually really excited for this figure. I've always really liked this character, and I've always wanted him to have a really solid, the version we got back in, I think, Power of the Primes was okay, but I think this is going to be a really nice, solid toy for this character, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging, and we're going to take a closer look. So taking a quick look at Brawn in the backdrop that comes included, his famous scene where the Decepticons are coming in through the hole in the shuttle, and then he is quick to warn the other Autobots before he is unfortunately quickly dispatched. But he does fit pretty well in this little diorama scene here. I think they did a pretty good job of, recreating the backdrop of that one scene that he's in for 5 seconds. But yeah, pretty cool. So here is Brawn out of the packaging, and I have to say, they crushed it. I think they did such a great job with him. This is kind of the Brawn figure I've always wanted. Again, the one we got during Power of the Primes wasn't bad, but I just think this perfectly, captures his on-screen appearance. The head sculpt looks fantastic. Really nice job there. The paint on the helmet is good. Silver paint on the face. The metallic blue for the eyes just looks really great. Autobot symbol down here on the chest. Have some silver paint here for the forearms and the fists. He does have a bit of a backpack, but it's really not too bad. And I love that they just painted the windows blue instead of trying to do some kind of translucent plastic. I've started to realize the more they do this, I really do prefer them just painting the windows blue. The days of translucent plastic, I don't really need it anymore. So I kind of just want them to stay consistent with this. And that's probably what's going to get me to rebuy a version of Ironhide at some point, just because that translucent plastic on that mold is just not the best. But anyway, getting back to Brawn here. Just really, really solid figure. He's a little tiny. I mean, he is one of the mini-bots. Just for a quick size comparison, here is tow line that I just happen to have handy. So you can see he is, a little shorter, not ridiculously shorter. Maybe, if you talk about the top of his head, maybe an inch. If you're talking about the top of this, maybe half an inch, something like that. So he's really not that much shorter than your standard Deluxe. And then just for fun, here is another one of his Blink and You'll Miss Him co-stars from the movie. Here is Snarl, as I tilt this up. So you can see just for a size comparison there. Both of these guys have about 15-20 seconds of screen time. But yeah, he definitely looks very small compared to Leader Class Snarl. But it's a really great looking mold. I mean, just all of the design here in the chest, the backpack, he definitely had this section at least. This could be a little bit more compact. Maybe if it could have gone up a little bit more so that this was kind of, level with the back of the waist piece. So you're talking about a couple, fractions of an inch. It's really not that big a deal. He has the tiny little gun, but I think it suits him. And if you want, you can go ahead and store this on the back. It can peg in there for vehicle mode as well. But if you want to store that on the back. So articulation-wise, the head can swivel from side to side. It's kind of hard to grab a hold of it. If you ever have trouble, you can always just kind of move this up a little bit so that you can really get it. Mine, I feel like maybe it was paint or something, but at first it was very stuck, but then once I got it to move, I was able to move it. But it's not a ball joint. It's definitely just a pin. You can see the pin inside there. So, there's no tilt front to back or side to side. It's just a straight swivel side to side, but I think that's fine. You have a ball joint here in the shoulder, so you go out to the side, rotate all the way around. You have a bicep swivel. You have slightly, actually I'd say pretty decently, maybe 120 in the elbow there, so over 90, which is nice. I don't think there's anything now. Because of the way the hands fold into the forearm, there's no wrist swivel. You do have a waist swivel down here, as you can see, which will be utilized in transformation. You have a thigh swivel, where the green meets the orange. Then you have 90 degrees, well, maybe just shy 90 degrees there in the knee. And then you have ankle tilt. Now you have these like toe and heel pieces that can move because of the transformation. So if that helps you for articulation, you can absolutely utilize that. But you definitely have the ankle tilt there as well. So just a really solid looking version of Brawn. And I feel like they got the color palette perfect, because this is always kind of like halfway in between yellow and orange, kind of a mustardy color. But they really kind of nailed that. And like I said, the Autobot symbol looks so perfect there. And then this kind of like, it's not quite like Army Jeep green, but it's kind of like, I can't even really tell you what color green this is, but they just kind of nailed it. And he just looks really, really good. I would assume we'll see Outback at some point and bring it on 100%. I'm also expecting them to eventually do a, Brawn got shot. Like, that seems to be their new thing now, where they make a mold and then make it in its death throes for the movie, which to me is unnecessary, but that's another video someday for that debate. But in any case, he looks fantastic in robot mode. I'm really, really, really happy with this. One last thing, if you're a fan of the original toy, you can kind of recreate the ridiculously long stilt legs that the original toy had back in G1. So there you go. If you want to recreate those ridiculous stilt legs, you absolutely can recreate that here. I think they said in the stream that it wasn't necessarily intentional, but once they realized that they could do it, they were happy that it had worked out that way. So if you like that look. But yeah, just a really solid, compact little deluxe. But I think the size is perfect. I think his scale makes total sense. And yeah, he's really, really great. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get into his transformation. You can start off by taking those hands I talked about, the fists, and just rotating them straight in. And they'll stop about there, so you can do that on both sides. We can come to the back here and lift this up, and this will kind of accordion out. There's a double joint piece right there and there, so you just kind of hang that out there for now. You can come to the waist and rotate that 180 degrees, and then if you want, you can go ahead and pop out the legs. The feet will kind of compact, and it's kind of funny because of where they're situated, they don't really like meet when they compact. So this might go down a little bit further, or this might go up, but just that's fine. They just have to be in that general compact sense. They don't really have to be in any specific configuration, but just make sure also that the ankle tilt is pushed in if you had that going. So the legs are pretty much ready to go. At this point, you're going to lift up the chest like I talked about. Now, they tell you to rotate the head 180 degrees. I don't really think it matters, but if you just don't want the robot head peeking out at you from underneath, then go ahead and rotate it, but otherwise, it doesn't really matter. This piece here, I think we have to bring... Do we have to bring this out first? So this will swivel down. This yellow piece here will actually swivel down like this, and then bring the arms down as well. So you're going to swivel this down, and then bring this down. And then this piece here, this pin, will make this swivel all the way around like that. And that's going to give you the front grille of the car, which I think that's such a cool way to do that. It's such an easy, compact way to hide that in there, and it's just really perfect. At this point, you're going to flip this hinge out. You can see some more window piece here. So that's going to flip around. And then this is going to just pop back up. Now, you would think it kind of tabs in. It doesn't really. You can see that is, clean straight across. There's no tab slots or anything. So this really just kind of goes up there and sits there. So don't try to push it in too tight. It's not going to tab in any way. This is going to come up like this. So you'll want to do this for both. And as you're doing that, and make sure you straighten out the elbows, you can see that there's a tab slot here, and there's a tab here. Oh, you know what? I did forget to rotate these. So when these are like this, this has to rotate like this, so that the pins are facing inwards, and basically the hands are facing back. So I did forget to do that. So when you have it in this configuration, the hands will be pointing downward. So when this comes in the hand has to, so rotate the bicep. So as I was saying, there's a tab slot here, there's a tab there, and also there is a tab on the actual shoulder piece as well. So you have to bring these in and line that all up so that they can tab into each other. Make sure the legs are out of the way. This is not lining up. There we go. Okay. Once that is all tabbed into each other, there are actually two little tab slots on the actual fingers of the fist. And then these little tabs here are going to come up and peg into those. So that's going to come up just like that. At this point, you're going to utilize this hinge. This is going to rotate in. The toes will fit into the empty slot where the window pieces used to be. There's a tab right here that's going to go in right there, and then there's a tiny little tab slot right there, which is going to go on that tab right there. So this will come in, and everything will just tab into place like that. Now, for some reason, mine don't really like to stay all that well, and I don't really know why. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really know why. It just doesn't seem to want to. Maybe it's not lined up properly. Well, in any case, that's where you want it to be. Hopefully yours stays tabbed together a little better than mine does. Then you're just going to drop this section down so you can see these tabs right here, which are going to tab in right there and right there. So this will just drop down and hold this all together. And then you just take this panel and you can see how you have these little cutouts here for these little tabs here and here. Now, for whatever reason, they did not paint this window. I don't really know why. I wish they had. But for whatever reason, they did not. So that is a bit of a bummer. But here we go. Why won't this go in? I mean, maybe it has something to do with something not 100% being lined up, but for the most part, I don't know why it doesn't seem to want to. Good enough. But yes, here is the vehicle mode. I think it's fantastic. Honestly, I think they did a great job. I love the look of it. Again, I really like the painted blue windows. I think that looks so much better than translucent plastic. Love the Autobot symbol here on the front. That looks great. Again, my only complaint with this is I wish they had painted the back window. That's it. That's my only complaint. You can bring the gun back in and pop it on there if you like. Rolls pretty well. I mean, it's probably because of the surface I'm on, but it rolls pretty well. Yeah, just overall, I really like this. I think they did such a good job. It's a fun, fairly easy transformation. I really don't think it's too difficult. Everything seems to make sense as you're doing it. It holds together fairly well, even when, you know, maybe all the pegs don't line up 100%, but still looks great. I love it. It's just one back window shy of being absolutely perfect. So I'm really happy with this figure. Brawn is another character, kind of like Cliffjumper, that I've really come to appreciate more over the years. And I absolutely have always wanted like a definitive Brawn figure. And I feel like this is definitely it. Like, this is such a good mold. Everything about the transformation is fun. The only thing, like I said, that I could complain about, I wish that back window was painted in the vehicle mode. And I wish like mine snapped in a little bit. But that's not really a design flaw. That's just kind of a, you know, QC randomly getting one that doesn't hold together as well as you'd like. But I don't think that's definitive for this mold, because I've seen a lot of other people who don't really have any kind of problems with that. And for the most part, mine holds together well enough. It's not really a huge problem or anything like that. But this is just such a fun little figure of a fun little character. And they nailed the color palette, the beautiful blue windows being painted. I love that. Both Autobot symbols are really nicely done as well. And I'm just super happy to get this figure. When they first started redoing all of the mini bots as deluxes, I was a little wary of it, because I was like, you just gave us all these as Legends class, and that scale-wise made more sense to me. But I've kind of come around 180, and now I absolutely love just about all of these mini bots as deluxe class figures. I need a Gears, please do Gears, and then I guess Swerve by the same extension. You know, please round out the mini bots. Like the Cosmos they did was so fun. Warpath was pretty great. Beachcomber we just got was a lot of fun. So I'm loving these mini bots done as deluxe class figures. But I think Brawn here is probably one of my absolute favorites so far. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.